There's a bear. That is a big sucker, isn't it? I don't want to go near him. And I'm told you shouldn't try and shoot them unless you're convinced you can kill them. Problem is he's heading my way. I want to go that way. So is it this thing? With a flag. Nothing. Being built or being broken? Oh, the flag drops. I think. Yeah, so I think what happens is when you put up a flag, it gradually drops until you raise it again. Nothing in the improvised shelter. Looks like it's already been well raided. It's just fire barrels. Somebody's put up a tent. This seems like a popular little spot. Oh, it's got things in it. Let's not get shot standing in the tent. It's got a shovel, box of nails, chlorine pills, buckshot. It's got tets. It's got, what do I need for my M16 again? 55645. You got any 55645s? You don't. You have that. Hello. Is this the big river that runs across the map? Looks like it very definitely is. Looks like it is the big river that runs across the map. Right, I don't have a burning desire to swim it right now. That's not on my list. Does it just stop? Like things have done before? Or does it go on? It just stops. Right, so just stops here. Nice river. Oh. Do I get wet if I go in there? Oh, I do. Well, something happens, so let's not do that. Oh, that's nice. Never seen that before. What river? Wonder if you could bury something down there. Anyway, right, the river. What do I do with this river? What do I do about this river? I'm trying to think. I think the river pretty much, that's like freshie zone. This is like not. So I think what I will do is I will stay on this side of the river and head this way and see if I can see anything. Looking along this side of the river, and maybe that's maybe this will take us all the way across the map, and then we could go down the other side. Blimey, long walk. This is really sort of freshie territory up here on the northern bit of the map. So, I mean, I've obviously seen there's a big base at Topolin. Big base at Topolin, which is obviously for a group of players, and that's when they spawn in, they head to Topolin and they get kitted up, right? So it's probably got lots of great basic kit in it, which is fine. I suppose the other thing is, would other people be making bases up here? Would you make bases up here? Is this, I mean, let's talk about bases while we walk. So there are some different use for bases, and there's some schools on thought on bases. And I've been to quite a few content creators, content, and had a look at a few things, and read up on some stuff and all the rest of it. And so there's like your freshie kit up base, which is what we're just talking about. So you set up a mini base somewhere near where the spawns are, so when you spawn in, rather than run around spending hours and have to travel long distance getting yourself together, what you do is you scavenge a whole load of stuff, you bring it back, you set up a base, and it means if you get killed and you spawn in, all you have to do is go to your base, and you've got, you know, cans of food, can openers, things like that that are non-perishable. You've got spare clothes, you've got all of the things that you're going to need to get your character up and running in 5 minutes, not 55 minutes. So there's that, and there's definitely there's that industrial. There's definitely room for that for everybody, I would say. You know, so that's certainly something we could look to do, seeing as we're up here. Actually, we don't have to go back to Nadbor and get all of that gear. We could find a little spot and make some stuff. The question is where, you know, and how, and all of that kind of jazz. So that's your freshie startup base, and it needs to be reasonably well protected, but it doesn't need to be super well protected because of course you're in freshie area, so there's not really going to be a lot of kitted people running around in freshie area, and they're probably not going to waste their time and effort on what's essentially a freshie spawn base, because it might have some reasonable gear in it, but it doesn't have to have your best gear in it, you know. One shotgun, one silenced pistol, one decent change of clothes. Right, that's, you know, and some food and canteen of water, and that's kind of all you need. Then there's your kind of like interim bases. You're like hopping off bases that are, you maybe have them near, maybe call them loot bases. You have them near places that are going to generate loot. So you might have them not a million miles away from a town, or not a million miles away from a military, and you know, that means that you go down, you do a quick sweep of the military or the whatever you have, and you pick up whatever loot you can, you take it back, you store it at that base, and that's the kind of thing that you can pick up later, right? If you need it. And maybe you do that a couple of times, and maybe you end up with some stuff. So that's your kind of like hopping off base and things like that. Then there's like your base, and that's the base that you want to keep all your good gear in or near, and that's the place where you hang out the most, where you do the most amount of work from. Is that a map? Chlorine tabs. Okay. Well, chlorine tabs are useful, so we won't say no to those because I've now got 7. So, you know, and that's your best defended base. You know, you have like, you know, 3 different airlocks. You might have different ways in, and no one really knows which way is the correct way in. And once you get inside, you're faced with more walls and more doors and things that don't make sense, all that kind of stuff. And you might spend a bit of time building that, and that's the one you really, really want to try and hide, and that's the one you really, really want to try and protect. And all of these things take a lot of time and effort. Now, especially if you're solo. If you're a team of people, you know, piece of cake. Run around, grab some stuff, do some stuff. Keep it simple. But three or four people can build a reasonable sized base pretty quickly. If you're solo, like me, and I essentially run around solo, what do we do? What's easiest and simplest for us? And in season 1, I had really just a shelter out in the woods for a long time, and no one ever found it. No one ever found it. No one ever found it. No one ever raided it. It was there until I decided to leave. When I then moved on and I built a base in a house, I was there for a good time too, until someone did find it and raid it. Which is also fine, you know, and this is the other thing about bases you have to realize is there's a potential that, pardon me, every base is going to be raided. So, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Well, what I think we want to do is, now that we've got some rope, is maybe we will finish having a little run around up north and checking and seeing if we can find any bases on this side of the bank, and what we might do is we'll set up a little freshie base to start with, just in case we get killed, which we have done before. Why don't we set up a freshie base now? Without having access to a map, I'm going off my memory. North of Graben isn't maybe the worst place to put a base. It's sort of central. I guess you can spawn in anywhere, I believe, along this top section of the map. So, and there's the edge of the map there. So, Graben's just back there, but it's sort of in the middle. So, it may be that we go back to Graben and then we just keep walking north until we find something. The only thing I think we're short. Wow, it is hosing it with rain. Good job I'm inside a shelter, right? I think it's... What's my, no, I think it's that one. Free camera? What's free camera controls? Free look, L1. Yeah, it still doesn't quite do it. I suppose it's clashing with the box. I hope you can hear me. I can barely hear myself. So we are we're in a shelter which I have made, which apparently is keeping me dryish, even though you can see right through it. We are not a million miles away from a town, which I think is Graben. And I've stashed some non-essential gear here for the time being, because we're going to go into the town, like I said, and we are going to see if we can get some basic supplies that would be good for a freshie starting out. So maybe a decent pair of boots, maybe a bottle that we have some water in, maybe some cans of food, maybe a hoodie, maybe a decent pair of trousers, that kind of thing. I actually also know that there's a little camping place not a million miles away from here that also has stuff like that. So I might just take a run up there and get soaking wet and do that, and then come back again. You need, if you've got a long gun on and you're inside a shelter, by the way, you tend to get stuck in it. So you have to kind of figure out how to lie down, or you can take it off. So I can't seem to lie down. You can also back out. There we go, backing out. Right. I have also made a little garden over here and stashed some stuff here. So let's go and see if we can find this little cabin place again, because they had some hunter's jackets and hunter's pants, and if I can grab those and bring them back, I'll chuck them in there, because they would be very good for a fresh spawn starting out, wouldn't they? You think? So I call you back because I came up here to these cabins, and I find this guy, and I didn't ask any questions. To be honest, I really didn't. So he seems to be alone, or seemed to be alone, which is fine. He looked pretty kitted, but you know. There you go. I wasn't gonna waste my time asking questions, and I don't see anybody nearby. So let's see what he's got. He's got a tundra. No, he's got a repeater. Mace. Stuff. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that and that and that and that. And that, and those, and that, and that, and those, and that, and that, And I think I probably ruined his jacket. Did I ruin his jacket? Did I ruin his pants? No, they're good. Can't get them off him though. Without taking all this off, is that right? Right, got his pants, got his shoes, got his gloves, ruined his jacket. I got a hip bag. Can I get rid of that stuff in his hip bag? Yeah, I can. Hip bag. Right. Right, so here we are back at our little shelter again, and I have further stashed some of the other stuff, like base building and base cracking stuff that I might need later, somewhere else. And here's what I think would be a good thing for a freshie to find. I ended up with a couple of water bottles, I ended up with a hip pack, I ended up with a pair of trousers. Haven't found a jacket yet. I got some food, I got a can opener, food that I eat cold, and I've got the hoe to dig up the other stash, and I got a set of gloves, and I got a decent set of boots, and I got some chlorine for purifying water. And I guess that's about it, really. I don't really think I need anything else. What have I got in here? I got a screwdriver in there that I don't need, and a saw. And I can definitely feel free to put those in there. I don't think anyone's going to care, but it definitely gets them out of my stove. Thank you very much. Yeah, so there you go. So I've got the stuff that I need. I might split 5 tats. Split it into a 5 and a 4. Usually a 5 ought to do it. I'm in good condition, but you could get, by the time you get here, you might not be in good condition. You might well be sick. So I'm going to pop one of these. Right, so yeah, so there you go. So that changes things a little bit, because I was going to go into Grabbin and get all the things that I needed to get for a freshie, but I've already got it. I mean, one jacket. I'm not going to go in for one jacket because I can probably get that somewhere else. So, so that. Right, Gleniska. I'm on the outskirts of Gleniska, and I realise that Grabbin is quite far east. So I've been following the red route, and in following the red route, I have passed a number of map boards, and I've had a chance to have a look at a couple of those map boards. And oh, take those. Can I take those? Oh no, I must be full of stuff. In rangefinder. In passing some of those map boards, I realise what can I get rid of? Not much. Probably get rid of the netting. Probably carve this chicken up a little bit. Yeah, in passing those map boards, I realised that Grabbin is quite far east, and then you pass Cromo de Vavoy, or whatever you want to call it, and then Brenna, and then still no room for those. That's a shame. I have to come and get them. Then Brenna, Topolin, and Bialawa is kind of north of Topolin. So, what I realise from that is that if I spawn over near Topolin's side, it's a long walk to Grabbin. It really is. So what I need to do is I need to put something closer to Gleniska. So here I am in Gleniska, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly what I did outside Grabbin, which is I'm going to find a place in the woods, and I'm going to build a shelter, and I'm going to bury some stuff, and I'm going to hide it, because that's what you do, right? So, and that's going to be another spawn kit. So I'll have 2 spawn kits, one just outside Graben, and one just outside Gniska. And it's still, I mean, it's a heck of a walk. It's still a heck of a walk. You know, you still need to know what you're doing. An assault vest, 45s. There's some interesting things around here. So there's definitely some stuff that I need. Ignore my phone pinging. So yeah. So I need to find somewhere outside Gniska to build a little hideaway. So I'm gonna go and try to do that now. Right. Well, here I am, another shelter. This is somewhere just north of Gliskina, in the woods, which is harder to find somewhere more sheltered. The woods tend to be quite open, but I found somewhere in a clump of trees. So yeah, so I found a camo net on the way here, which I'm storing here for now, but I'll probably bring with me, even though it's kind of big. I found yet another fishing rod, which is great. Some bones, not enough to really make a hook with, maybe, I'm not sure, and some food and some chlorine and a frying pan and some water and a hat, and I need to go find some more clothes, maybe. Pardon me. I found a 4 combination lock on the way here, so I'm hanging on to that. And this is just general odds and sods, and I found a chicken and a sheep, and I've just cooked the chicken and sheep, and I have some things like barbed wire, which is part of my base building kit for when I get around to building a base. So, blimey, there you go. So, what I need to do is head that way and head down to Gliskina and see what I can get in terms of possibly a decent set of boots. Oh, I tell you what, these things, these jungle boots, worn. I think I've repaired them once. Blimey, I mean, I've run a heck of a distance in these things, and I think repaired them once, and I can't remember where I picked them up, but it was a long time ago in terms of running, considering I've ran all the way from Dolnik up the east side, meandered around a bit, and come all the way across the north again to Gliskina, and I'm going to head down the west side again. So I've basically done a whole tour of the map around the outskirts anyway. And it's what, 162 squares, so that's 40 kilometers by 40 kilometers, give or take. So yeah, done a bit of running in those boots, and they're good boots. Yeah, so gonna do that. That's gonna be the next thing I'm gonna do after I take a little break. So see you again soon. Right, well that's it. So I'm leaving my little stash there, and I'm going to head across country. I found pretty much everything I wanted to find. Decent jacket, decent pair of shoes. Didn't get a decent pair of gloves, but you know, hey ho, there you go. That's life. And some pate and some brisket and some fronta and stuff like that, which is all good. So I now have what I've got on me, which includes some of my base building stuff, and we're going to hit the red trail, and we're going to carry on through now, all the way down the west side till we get to that military base down just outside Nadbor. So that's quite a journey, but I'm fairly confident we'll make it without too many hiccups. We've got everything we need to get ourselves sorted. So yeah, so we'll do that, and I'll probably call you when I get down there. Well, Cure again. Well, I'm not quite as far as the military, but I am not a million miles away from it. You may remember this place. I can't remember if it made it to the content or if it got dropped on the cutting room floor. But that was a little town called, I think, Zalisi or something like that, and it's by this little lake area. dam, I guess, whatever the situation is. Anyway, we're heading down the red route again. We've left Topolin. There's a lot of base building activity going on in Topolin. I can tell you, there's bases with tents and things on top of the tower blocks. They just don't even care, which means it must be pretty well defended if they're that brazen about it. So Topolin looks like the place to go to crack some nuts, as it were. So we're heading down here, and we're heading down the red route, and we will carry on with the plan, which is go down to the military and set up a place in the woods and talk about some supplies and talk about a few other bits and pieces. And then what we will do is we will get kitted up and we will get some stuff together, and I think what we'll do is we'll head back to Topolin and we'll see about what we can do down at Topolin. Right for now, out here, I want to see what we can do about a map. If there's any maps, that would be very, very handy. A box of 76254s. Not super handy for now. Thank you very much. So yeah, so I'm going to clear this out and have a look at the guy on the roof. And what we'll do is I'll call you back in when I get down to the military again. There's a bear. That is a big sucker, isn't it? I don't want to go near him. And I'm told you shouldn't try and shoot them unless you're convinced you can kill them. Problem is he's heading my way. I want to go that way. Although the path turns away from him, so maybe I'll stay clear of him. That was Polena. I've just been through. There's a dead player there, chopped up. Someone's chopped up a player, taken quite a bit of their gear. So I don't know what that's about. That's the first time I've seen. Oh yeah, that's that bear. That's the first time I've seen a sign of anybody. So I don't know if that means that they were going up and down the road, or you know, are they following the red trail as I'm following it? Are they heading to the military? Were they coming from the military? I mean, who knows, right? You could keep guessing, and I'm not going to. So either I'll run into them again. Well, either I'll run into them, or I won't. It's getting dark, so there you go. Maybe they did that and logged out. Who can say? But that's the first sign of another player I've seen in quite some time. So yeah, here we are. I don't know how I missed this the first time. Look, there's a military base on top of the hill. I mean, how did I not see that? I don't really understand how I didn't see that. Anyway, there's a road down there, so we're going to follow that up. And then we're going to... yeah, we went that way that time. Yeah, maybe we should go this way this time? There's a road right there. Just follow the road straight up. What I forgot to mention was I found a map. Da, 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 da. Hey, look, I got a tourist map right down there, right down there. So, so I found a map in a house in Polena, which is pretty good because we can hatch a little bit of a plan, which is not actually markedly different from the plan that I just told you. Is that rocks or houses? Rocks. Which is to head over here. Now, the only perhaps issue I have is that I was hoping along the way that I would find something akin to a shovel or a hoe or a pick, so I can bury stuff, and I have not found that, which is a key part of my plan. Not the only part, but it is certainly a key part of my plan, is that I will need to, pardon me, I will need to be able to bury stuff. Because you know, making a shelter is all well and good, but they're not very secure, and burying it is slightly more secure. So, if I recall correctly, this military has some engineering shops and outbuildings and various other bits and pieces like that. I was vaguely hoping that maybe there's one of those buildings has a shovel in it. It is kind of thin. I will say it is kind of thin. But it is kind of my hope. So I'm gonna go up and not do the base, but I'm gonna see if I can have a look around a couple of the outbuildings, and maybe see if I can find something like that. You think? Well, I realize for the last 3 times that I've been promising that I would call you in when we get here, and we're finally here. And this is the military base. I believe it's at Swarog. Let's call it Swarog. Yeah, it's I'm cold and I'm wet, and I have a shelter down there in the woods somewhere that I've stashed a whole lot of gear, and we're gonna go have a look. Whoa! So yeah, so this will probably be in time lapse, and I'll see you all real soon. Right, well, here we are back in our little improvised shelter just south of wherever we are. So let's have a look at where we are so we have an understanding of what we're talking about from here. So the red route, there's the red route. So the red route comes down from Topolin. So we came across the top. Gliskina. Oh man, really, Gleniska. It's hard to remember. Um, right, so we came down the red route. And we went through to Poland, like I say, and we came down past Zalisi, like I say, and we came all the way down here into Polena, and this is, I believe, Swarog is the military base that we've just done at Swarog, and we're out here in in the woods somewhere. There's nothing here, so there's a few houses and things. I'm reluctant. I'm reluctant to build bases in houses because as someone who has built bases in houses and as someone who is a solo, and if I was wanting to raid bases, I'd go, oh, wonder what those houses are, and would go looking for them. Um, because if it's marked on a map, someone somewhere is going to go have a look at it, and indeed, it may be something that we do at some point and check out some of these houses. If I see a lone house, I always go and have a nosy. Whereas if you're just randomly in the woods, as we are now, then if you are on the road to somewhere, then that is fine. There's a risk that people will stumble across you. There's nothing down here to be on the road to. We're not near whatever those structures are down there. And there's nothing else down here, so we're not on the road to anywhere. And there's no reason for anybody to be down here. There's nothing here. People would go into Svarog, sure, and then go back to perhaps Nadbor or onto Polena or onto whatever the Scala thing is. But yeah, Dambog I think is, what is it, a mountain or something? So there's nothing here. There really isn't really anything out here. So I think we're fairly safe. Um, that said, um, while I got some goodies, and you can see that my shelter is already full, I picked up Claymore, which is good. I'm still carrying this camo net, which takes up a lot of space, but I really feel it's got some value, and I'm still carrying this VSS mag because if we ever run across a VSS mag, I've got a fishing rod because I'm probably going to have to go fishing sometime real soon. Anyway, I've got some wire for the base, some barbed wire for the base, camo netting for the base, pliers for the base, a spare gas canister which I need, and a saw which I need for the base. What we picked up is I picked up a lockpick along the way, which is very good. I've got a suppressor for my pistol. I've got a bone hook, which I absolutely need. I definitely need sharpening stones because I am, as you can see, going through my sharp gear making bases and things, and if we have to make crates and stuff and fences and walls and stuff, we're going to absolutely need more of them. I picked up another set of jungle boots, which are actually pristine, and unfortunately with the new mechanic, it seems like you can't just equip them. They're damaged. I'll hang on to them, but yeah, these jungle boots are awesome. They've been awesome all the way. These combat gloves, I think I picked up some tactical gloves, and I'll just change those because they're not wet. Likewise, I have picked up another field jacket, and I think I will trade it because, again, not wet. So that might change my stats a little bit and keep me a little bit warmer. Oh, it says it's wet. Oh, it was lying outside. It was lying on the ground. That's right. I found it lying on the ground, so that's why it's wet. Shucks. So they're both damp. Oh well. Never mind. Where's the other one? Where'd the other one go? There you are. How damp are you? Just damp. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and a bunch of ammo, really. 308s, 7.6254. I picked up a tactical belt, which is fine. Could come in handy. I think that's some traitors. I picked up some explosive. I picked up some more grenades, as you can see, which is all good if we want to crack anything. Some more knives, because it's always good to have knives. I picked up an assault vest. What's an assault vest got? 30, and it's got 2 grenades already on it, which is great. What have I got? Tactical vest, which has got a bit more in it. So that's all good. I picked up this backpack, tactical backpack, which is a bit of an annoyance because it's very, very handy, but it's going to take up a truck ton of room weighing what it weighs, or sorry, taking up the space that it takes up. I'd love to leave it or bury it, but there you go. So need to make some decisions, because what I'm proposing to do is I'm pretty much nearly full, and like I've said, I need to go and catch some more fish very shortly. In fact, I should probably just eat this one. I want to catch some more fish, and then what I think I need to do is I need to go into Nadbor. I very definitely need to find a hoe or a shovel or a pick, which I still haven't found, so that I can come back here, bury some of this gear by making 2 or 3 crates, and then I want to go into Nadbor and pick up my other gear and start getting it out of here. So it's a little bit of a chore, and it's a little bit of a thing that I have to do, but I really have to do it. You know, and this is the problem when you start planning for bases and planning for settling down and things, is we haven't got a base yet. We're planning on making one just outside Topolin somewhere, so we can find out what's going into Topolin with these teams that are obviously working Topolin. But in order to do that, I need to stash some gear, and I've got some gear, and you got to make like a couple of trips and things to kind of make it happen, especially if you're playing solo. So that's what I have to do. I have to love you and leave you here while I go off and do some things, because I'll just keep eating, because it's going to be a bit of a chore, and it's probably going to be getting into the next sort of content that I want to get out. This has been a while. I know it's a bit late. I've pushed it out as much as I can, but I want to get this content out for you so you can see what's happening, because I have traveled a heck of a distance, and I have put an awful lot of hours in, believe it or not, to get this far, and build the things that I've got, and store the things that I've got, and pick up the things that I have picked up along the way. But yeah, I need to show you where I'm at before I move on to the next thing. So that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, I hope you're down with where we're at. I hope you're excited. I'm feeling excited. I've got a job to do. I've got things to do. Yes, there's some tedium, but we want to get things done. It will require staging things a little bit. We need to get the stuff from Nadbor over here. We need to stash a whole load of stuff here. Then we need to go straight up the red route. We need to find somewhere outside Topolin, first of all. We need to build some storage space. And we need to start storing things. And then I need to shuttle the things that I've got here over there. And we need to get set up, and we need to get ready. And once we're set up and ready, and crafted like a ghillie suit and a couple of other bits and pieces, we can sneak into Topolin and try and find out what's going on. So that's the next thing. So the next thing is, we've done all the interim base stuff. We now need to collect all our gear together, and we need to go find a place to call our own, and we need to start setting up a base from where we can launch our attacks on Topolin, and maybe across the top of the map, and find out exactly what's going on. But that's for another time. Hope you're enjoying it. Please drop a like. Please subscribe. Please feel free to pass comment. Good, bad, or indifferent. Essentially good would be good. Or if not, just drop me a like. And I'll see you all again real soon. Ta-ta for now.
PlayStation